Builders aren't really known for having a gentle touch when it comes to the garden. They don't have that love of gardening maybe that the rest of us have, and in fact often when they're gone, of course, the place can end up looking absolutely desperate. And that's exactly how it was in this family home. Once the builders had left and they'd renovated, done a fabulous job inside, and the family were left with a gorgeous living space inside and a bit of a war zone outside. Now, the first step in fixing that, if you like, and getting it right is to get a good design. Now, the importance of a good design can't be overstated, because like all jobs, the more work you do at the initial stages, the better. When you have an absolute proper design done, there's very little room for ambiguity, so that you're not going to run into any surprises along the way, as both you and the contractor know exactly what's expected. The risk, of course, of creating a garden without having it professionally designed is that you'll run off in all different directions, and you'll do this bit this year, and then next year you'll feel like something totally different, and at the end of it all, the garden doesn't necessarily knit together, it doesn't necessarily work. And more often than not, that's not due to any lack of time or love or even money spent in it. It's just going off in different ways. There was no clear vision day one. Even if you don't create the garden or install a design immediately in one go, by having it, at least every time you spend a few euros on the garden, you have a blueprint, because it's all then going in the one direction. The first element of the construction of any garden is the hard landscaping. Now, hard landscaping encompasses everything that is, as you'd expect, hard. Paving, curbing, metal edging, anything like that, or this beautiful home office, they're all hard landscaping elements. We also have a timber pergola in this garden. They're all the hard landscaping elements, and they're expensive. So you don't want any margin for error. So that's why it's so important to be clear day one as to what you're doing. Once the hard landscaping elements have been completed, such as your paths and patios, and in this garden, this gorgeous, gorgeous driveway, and you'll see here we've linked the paving areas with a lovely soft gravel. It breaks up the expanse of paving. The gravel has a lovely, soft, crunchy effect. It's also, obviously, from a security point of view, it's very effective, because nobody could walk on that without being heard. But once they're all completed, then it comes to the soft landscaping, which, as you might expect, is the planting and everything to do with plants. Lawns, trees, and everything else in the beds, they're all part of the soft landscaping elements. And don't run down the route of, pardon the pun, but don't run down the route of thinking them as an afterthought. The plants make a garden. The plants are, if you like, they're the living, breathing elements of the garden. They bring the colour, they bring the drama, they bring the life. Don't forget about them, don't scrimp on them. They're often, if you like, they're rarely the more expensive element of the garden, they're often the less expensive element, so they're not going to break the bank, and they make the garden. They really are an essential piece. And I'm going to be back here in a few weeks to show you some pictures of this garden when it's in full bloom, and I hope that the family who live here are going to enjoy many, many happy days, months and years of living in this garden, of dining in it, of working in it, of playing in it. I hope they're going to love it.